guys, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and now I want to talk to you about how to avoid the role function, or why to avoid the role function. The role function is, if you look in the functional stack of your functions, as we said, the role function is pretty much the opposite of your base function. So for NI, it's SI, not SE, but SI. So, or for ENTJs or ESTJs, it's FE. So it's the same direction as your base function. It's, it's also, if it's a judging function, it's also a judging function. If it's, a perceiving function, it's also a perceiving function. So if you're like an ENTP, then your role function would be SE. Get that? So for INFJs, it's SI. And the role function, if you want to read more about this, you could just look into socionics. Remember that their INFJs are called INFPs with a small p in the end because of the NI as a perceiving function. But anyways, and then you can look up role function, introverted sensing for INFJs, but you'll see it with everybody else. And I've wanted to talk to you about this because this has been one of the areas that I think is keeping us from, changing our lives and doing what we have to do, and we don't even realize it. And I don't think anybody really talks about it, although it makes such a big thing, or it's such a big issue. So the reason why we have SI as our role function, what do you mean? The reason, you can just look it up what it is, but it manifests through us trying to pretend like we have an inner calmness, and we want other people to have that calmness as well. So I remember when I have people around me who are always active, they always want to do something, but it's like, but they don't have an inner stillness with them, then it bothers me, or it used to bother me. With ESTPs, for example, it's different. You have like, extroverted sensing, and but they still have a strong control over the SI. They have a strong control over their internal feeling of, their body, or, just like a calmness within them, or they can control that, or they're okay with fluctuations there, but they have control over it. And I've seen it in myself. I see it with other INFJs, this perception that we have to come off as people as this, I'm so calm inside. It's all good. You can act like the biggest idiot and yell at me, and I'm still gonna stay like that. And this is how I'm gonna go through life. This is SI. God. I made I remember 2 videos ago, I talked about NE plus FE at some point, and I'm in NI. When I talk about INFJs, role function SI, introverted sensing. But this calmness that we represent onto others, that's a role function, because that's not who we are. We are not that calm inside. If you change, like INFJs change their internals for all the time. At some point, I love to relax, and I love to listen to fantasy kind of music and just like float in another atmosphere. And then I like to be fierce and be a fighter and so on. And these are internal things. And for example, when I had my situation with the ENFJ that I said that changed my life and everything, the role function was one of those main things, because he has SI as a point of least resistance, I think that's you call it, the function you just like care the least about, which is the opposite of your third function. So for INFJs, that would be TE, extroverted thinking, and for ENFJs, that would be introverted sensing. And so if you've looked and really observed ENTJs or ENFJs who have SI as their role function, you'll see that there's always something, they always have to be doing something. And go ahead, and I don't know if you've watched this series Entourage, and the agent or the manager, I don't remember the name, but the guy, there's this guy who's always and he's really upset and does all those things, but He's really funny, but the point is he has SI, as an ignoring function. There's always this, there's no real stillness in that person. And I, as an INFJ, used to criticize that. I used to criticize that and saying, giving a vibe of calm down internally, calm down, you need stillness inside, which is completely wrong. The reason why I made that person feel that way is because I feel I have to be like this. I have to be calm and collected and, all those things. This is the SI role function. This is something we kind of want people to think of us when they don't really know us, when we're, more calm and so on. And it's just fake. It's just fake, and the people get it at some point. They really get it. For the ENFJ, for example, TE was their role function. So there was always this vibe of, I want to pretend to be, do everything how it's supposed to work, how society thinks it should, right? Like those external things of what's right and what's wrong, what has worked, what is accepted, and so on. And I don't care about those things. Like, that's our INFJs, our last, the point of least resistance, the function we care least about. We do all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with how things should be in the real world, but we do them on our own terms, and we just don't care. So the same problem we had with the SI, we had with the TE, because he always made me feel like I have to be more like this. I have to be more about what's concrete, what's real, like this. And he gave me all those feelings I get when I'm with ESTJs and ENTJs. I don't like that stuff. But he kept pushing me in that area because he thought he had to be that, although it's not good for him. He has to let go of that and understand there's just so much you can take. It's okay to have like a kind of role somewhere, but at some point you have to accept this is not who you are. So I had to accept myself, stop making people feel like they have to be internally all balanced and stuff, because you're not balanced yourself, and trying to pretend like you're like this when you're not. People don't get this. Like, I didn't get it, but it's what we do. We have this, we talk to people and we give up this vibe of, I'm so calm inside, and you never let them know that inside you're either thinking about, what am I going to do next, where I'm going to go, what am I going to do. What we need is external stimulation, something that gets us going and that also makes our internal state be more ready and more outgoing and so on. We're not ISFJs. We're not this always calm, collected person inside. Accept that. That's okay, but you have to really accept that, and then not allow people to expect that of yourself. Like, say, because that's what changes everything. When you say, well, okay, I don't care about my role function, I'm not going to do that, then people won't think you're fake. People will accept you for who you are, and you will accept yourself. And I've also seen it lately. That's why it really was so evident to me that I have to talk about it. I have this coworker who is an ENTJ. Role functions for ENTJs is FE. He tries to give up this vibe of, this is so funny, and, being charming like this in an FE kind of way. And it comes off as so unnatural, because you see that inside, he's not about group harmony. He's not about, having everybody included and have like a peaceful atmosphere where everybody feels comfortable. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all, because having TE as your main function has also a lot of benefits. You get things done. People can count on you. You do what has to be done, like in a lot of ways. And if he would just accept that and really show people that he's that person and not that he's that nice person who he tries to be so he doesn't get excluded, people will follow him and do what he says because he's a leader and he has ideas and does things. So this function kind of thing, this role function kind of thing is so important. And once you really think about it and you stop giving off that vibe, then things will just, things change. People take you seriously. You're a real person then. Like, I always thought, why do people get upset with me? And people always say, well, she doesn't give off anything you could really like get mad at or anything like this. And that pissed people off because it's fake. It's just fake. Like this entire thing of, you can do what you want, you can yell at me, but I'm just not gonna care. It's not human. It's not normal. You don't like something, you say it. You let people know that you are internally active. Your mind is active, that you want to do things, that you're, all those things. This was the main thing for me why I thought people are not going to love me. This was the thing. I thought at some point I just have to let people know, like, I can't fake that anymore. Because when you are like this, you give people the reason to keep on pushing because they want to see your boundary. It's a necessity. So they don't really think about it. They don't know how much they hurt you because you're not giving off anything or any boundary, and they just think they have to go and go and go, and you feel like, oh, well, I have to play that role and do this. No, let people know internally, oh, you change your mind. You don't like this. You won't tolerate that. You'll be all in 1 minute and then be a fighter in the next minute and then be contemplative and then be completely superficial, having this internal ups and downs and so on, which is what you do, which is what you need, which is your entire life. This NI world is full of chaos and beautiful chaos and creativity. There's no, I'm gonna go into detail and analyze everything. I know this sounds, actually, when I talk about it, like there's a negative thing to SI. There's not. I'm just trying to like portray it this way so you really see what is, like, how we should see it, because we should value it a little less for us. For other people who are SI stronger, great. Thanks for having that. My mother is an ESFJ. The more and more I think about it, the more I'm grateful for everything she does for me, for all those things she takes care of me, so I'm calm and like where she gives me like a home and cooks for me when I come over and does all those things that make me feel good. But that's her thing and I'm grateful for it, but it's not what I do inside of my mind. And don't allow people to show their role functions. Ask them about it, like confront them about it. Don't go like, stop using your role function. But, give up the vibe of, I know who you are, stop pretending this is your thing. But at the same time, don't play that role. You can only do it to other people if you do it with yourself. Because in the end, everybody will benefit from avoiding the role function a little more. So, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and looking forward to your comments. Talk to you next time. Bye. If you're not doing SE things, you won't care, or you will defend yourself and not in a way that says, I don't want to hear this stuff in your life to that extent. Like, I don't need to go as deep and